What's good, FantasyLand fam? We have Week 8 Waiver Wire Targets right now, so let's get straight to it.
Welcome to the FantasyLand Football Podcast.
Yeah, okay. Week 7 in the book. Let's talk about Week 8 Waiver Wire Targets.
Oh boy.
Hey, it's the first time we're doing Waiver Wire Targets. We figured, hey, you guys need to know this stuff.
That's right.
So why don't we just equip you with everything that you need to know? You know what I'm saying? It's Zach here, and I'm with my co-host, Badaki. It is Tuesday, the 27th of October. Thank you for joining us on the Fantasyland Fan Pod. Monday Night Football. Kind of a snoozer, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't really anything crazy. Everyone was kind of shut out. They were shut out on both sides of the ball there. No one really irrelevant really scored. I think it was just Malcolm Brown, Not Dallas. I was going to say Dallas Goedert, Gerald Everett, like people that nobody had on that team. Like nobody has.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was good
surprise,
to watch football.
Hopefully you didn't have to start Tyler Higbee and got that surprise right before kickoff, pretty much, that he was not going to play.
Yeah.
Not a fun game, but it is what it is. Hey, let's get into need to know news.
What is going on here?
What is going on around the NFL? Lots and lots has happened. OBJ officially ruled out for the rest of the year.
Oh boy.
It's a bit of a sad one.
It is
OBJ
a bit of a sad one.
He's an icon in the game, but he will not be playing for the rest of the year.
No, that's right. Really quick fun fact, if you follow our league, the Fellowship of the Fantasy Ring, Wesley, Jordan Westfield traded Tommy, I was going to say Timothy, traded Tommy, OBJ for CeeDee Lamb literally 20 minutes before the game kicked off.
Yeah.
It's just
so
unlucky.
He got OBJ, Tommy got CD, and then OBJ goes down, out for the year.
Out for the year.
That's why you sometimes you got to risk it.
Yeah,
sometimes you got to risk it, you know?
need to.
So RIP to Wesley. But Kenyon Drake also will be out, not for the rest of the year, but has a slight tear in one of his ligaments in the ankle. Will miss a few weeks. We're going to talk about Chase Edmonds and how this helps his value on the show. But Chris Carson, your guy, you love Chris.
Yeah, I love Chris. I traded for him this past week too. I gave away Zeke for Chris, and then this happens. Mid-foot sprain. He's considered week to week right now, but look, there's a lot of reports saying that it's not as bad as everyone's saying. It's not as bad as Chris thinks. There's reports coming out saying that he is the warrior of this team. If there's anyone that is going to get through this, it's Chris. If there's anyone that's going to get through this in a short amount of time, it's Chris Carson. So
yeah,
he'll probably be out for 1 week.
There.
In my personal opinion, I think he's out for 1 week, and then we'll see.
Yep, Nick Chubb reportedly could return after week 9 bye. However, I would not hold your breath there. Most injuries have taken longer than they typically would. This year. For whatever reason, recoveries have taken longer, and I would expect him probably to more be around week 10, 11, but hey, could be a nice surprise for you. Antonio Brown, eligible to play week 9, so we could see him versus Saints on Monday Night Football.
Oh, boy.
What do you expect from AB in his first game?
I expect that Tom is going to get him right in. He has a whole week, technically, if he's eligible to come join the team right now. He has a whole week to learn the playbook, to get familiar with the offense, to know his teammates as well, get to know everyone in the building. I think they could be putting him straight to the test week 9 whenever he's available to come back on the field.
So you think you could start him week 9?
Man, look, I don't know if I can start him week 9.
Yeah, okay.
Excuse me, but I think that he's going to play a big factor in this game for sure.
Yeah. All right, we don't want to spend too much time on this pod. We want to give you all the information we can in the shortest time I guess possible, just concrete information about waiver wires. So let's get into our waiver wire targets.
Just pick them up, pick them up, pick them up, pick them up, pick them up. Oh my God.
Waiver wire targets. Who should you be picking up? Just pick him up.
Pick him up.
Who's it going to be? Look, here's what we've tried to do. We've tried to find players who are available in most leagues.
Yeah.
So there might be some people we don't talk about that we have probably already assumed they are rostered in your leagues.
Yeah.
So guys like Travis Fulham, Tim Patrick, T. Higgins, these kind of players, we probably have assumed that they're already rostered in your leagues. Yeah. So we've tried to find people who are available in most leagues across ESPN, NFL, Yahoo, DraftKings, whatever it is that you
just
use,
everywhere.
Right?
We also want to give you people that can actually help your team, hopefully in the long run, maybe one game, two games, whatever their value can be to your team. This is a great opportunity for what we're about to do right now.
Yeah. Start us off, Badaki. Who is our first waiver wire target of Week 8?
Week 8 for me is Sterling Shepard. Look, he came off of IR last week against the Eagles. We saw what he did. He got 6 for 59 yards and a touchdown. That's not bad coming off, turf toe right there. He was cutting. Obviously, we saw how he was trying to breaking in and out of cuts. He was cutting. He was catching balls on the sideline. Yeah. He was doing really great, and I think this is a guy that could really help your team. He's actually rostered in only 26% of leagues right now, so he could be available in your roster in your league. I would personally pick him up. He missed. He was clearly missed. He was clearly missed by this team, and Danny Dimes loves him. He's technically the number one target there in New York.
You know what I was going to say as well with players like this? If you see a player who's on IR that's on the free agency, and let's say they're a couple weeks away from even coming back,
right?
Grab them and put them in your IR spot. You're not actually using any space. Yeah. You know what I mean?
This is
imagine
very
you had put Sterling on your IR for however long he was on IR, and then he came back and he balled out. I mean,
yeah,
you're kind of just holding on to people for free.
Absolutely. Like, obviously this year is a bit different. In our league, we have the option to put anyone that's on IR on an IR spot. We normally don't have that. Obviously, with the whole COVID situation, we kind of switched it up this year. So that's a good way. I don't know how you guys do it in your leagues, but look, I personally think Sterling Shepard is a really good low-end wide receiver 2, a high wide receiver 3 option. I think if you're struggling with wide receivers, then you can really prioritize him depending on your depth.
Okay. Then I guess the question is, how high are you making Sterling in your waiver priorities this week? Or how much fab, what percentage are you going to be using? Are you spending over 20% fab, or is he your first waiver wire pick, or where is he looking like for you?
Look, I think it all depends on your roster. I think if you're okay with running backs, obviously for somebody like me, I shouldn't be talking to Sterling Shepard because I'm pretty good right now with receivers and I'm struggling in running backs. Obviously, Chris Carson is injured for me. Maybe the same thing for you. But let's say you're OBJ owner, and he's out for the rest of the season. This could be a good pickup for you. Sterling Shepard is there. So maybe 10, 15% of fab, I'm definitely trying to put in to get Sterling on my team.
I like it. All right. Chase Edmonds.
Oh, boy.
Now, here's the thing. We actually researched every fantasy league percentage he was available. Okay. Now, in NFL.com, we use that in some of our leagues. He's rostered in just 33% of leagues.
It's crazy.
In Yahoo and ESPN, for some reason, he's rostered in 62% of leagues. So look, I don't know if he's rostered in your league or not, but if he's not on a roster, Chase Edmonds needs to be on a roster.
Absolutely.
Now, they do have a bye week this week, if I am not mistaken. So I get that you might be a little bit hesitant trying to pick up Chase Edmonds. They are on a bye this week, just to confirm that.
Okay.
But Kenyon Drake will miss time. You and I both believe that Chase Edmonds is already the better talent, there from the running back position.
Correct.
We agree. We see that eye to eye.
Absolutely.
Okay. He's already the better talent in our opinion. And now he's actually going to get the opportunity he wasn't really putting up much numbers, but then when Drake went out, he had a really, really good second half, put up almost 15 fantasy points, I believe. This is the kind of guy, if he gets a starting role, because he's so versatile in the passing game, I could see him getting 20 plus points per game if he's a starter. Yeah. I personally think he's that Drake that the guy they wanted Drake to be is Chase Edmonds. So, with that being said, he's very high on my priority.
Okay.
You have to keep this into perspective, though. If you need a guy this week and you have to start someone, you might not be in the position to pick up Chase Edmonds.
Yeah.
Right? You just might not have that luxury. But let's say you've got your starting lineup already figured out for week 8. Pick up Chase Edmonds because his value is going to skyrocket if he gets this starting position. Do you agree with me here?
I definitely agree. I'm really interested, or the only reason why I'm hesitant on Chase Edmonds is because of the time frame of Drake. They said that this could be he's going to miss several weeks. What's several weeks? 2 weeks? 3 weeks? Yeah. So in reality, Drake already has a bye, which is fine. So that means he only has 2 games. If Drake was to only miss 2 weeks or 3 weeks tops, he has that. So
it's very much a Gio Bernard, a Boston Scott scenario.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Pick up the guy for the start.
Exactly. So, and what's hard about this is that he has a bye next week, so he's not high on priority. So you can pick him up and spend 30-40% of your fab potentially, and then not even start him for next week. So I feel like that this is it's a hard position. So for example, like for me, if Chris Carson now, Chase Edmonds is probably not the guy that I really want to be getting right now.
Yeah. It's probably Carlos Hyde. Well, I guess the only reason I'm a little bit more bullish on this is because I think Chase Edmonds is the only running back replacing the starter that has the opportunity to potentially take the starting role.
Right. Absolutely.
Right? I don't think Gio or Boston Scott or Carlos Hyde, none of these guys will have a chance to take that starting role. But Chase Edmonds, if he balls out, he might have that starting role.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let's continue here with mine. Rashard Higgins, wide receiver for the Cleveland Browns. Obviously, we were all gutted when OBJ went out. But look, this is business, and it's really the next man up,
Yep.
So obviously, Jarvis Landry is that guy. Jarvis Landry is owned in a pretty good amount of leagues already. Or obviously, a lot of people aren't starting him, or he's just benched. But yeah. Look, Rashard Higgins, he went for 117 yards, 17 fantasy points last game against the Bengals. Obviously, OBJ got hurt really early in the game, so he had the full game and the whole opportunity to play that game.
Yeah.
I don't think his game will be like this. I think he'll probably average more around the 10, maybe 12 point. He's only rostered right now in 1% of leagues, which is crazy. So that means he's available in pretty much almost every league. And this could be a solid addition just purely because now Rashard Higgins is wide receiver number 2. He jumps to number 2. Okay. Jarvis moves up. Higgins there's a domino effect. Jarvis goes up. Yeah. Rashard goes up 1. That means wide receiver 2. Once again, if you're in a position that if you need a receiver, if you're an OBJ owner, I think Rashard Higgins could be the guy that you could be picking up right now to kind of fill that OBJ slot. Obviously, OBJ was very inconsistent. He was really boom or bust. He's not going to put up that boom OBJ numbers, but I think Rashard Higgins has the opportunity to be consistent and to bring some sort of consistency to your team.
Did you know Baker Mayfield threw 5 touchdowns on Sunday?
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I did. One came very last minute for the W.
5 touchdowns, and it happened with OBJ out. I'm not putting any strings anywhere or drawing any lines. I'm just saying, interesting. He's not very high on the priority, though. He's probably that second round of waivers that you would place.
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's talk
Sorry, before you go on, I personally think that a lot of people won't even pick him up, and I think this could be a high priority guy.
Okay.
Keep that in mind.
Let's talk about Harrison Bryant, the tight end from the Browns as well. Harrison Bryant is a rookie. He was a 4th-round pick in this year's draft for the Browns. The Browns have raved about this guy. Management loves him. Coaches love him. He's rostered in less than 0.2% of leagues. Now, that's because Austin Hooper was the guy there.
Yeah.
Now, he's had this surgery for appendicitis. We don't know how long he will be out for necessarily. I think you can recover from that quickly. I'm not a doctor, though. So,
who knows?
As long as Austin Hooper is out, it looks like Harrison Bryant could be that guy.
Right.
Here's the scary thing. The targets aren't very high. Most wide receiver options or receiving options, in this Browns offense, that's the issue. There's not many targets to go around. Harrison Bryant had a really great game on Sunday, however, put up those 2 touchdowns. He was the best tight end of Week 7. We don't think that this trend will continue, but he's kind of the stash and see type guy.
Yes.
Not very high in your priorities, but second wave of your waivers, or maybe you want to spend 1 to 5% of your fab. Harrison Bryant is a good stash and see type guy because he is the rookie. So they will probably want to see what they have in him.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Harrison Bryant could have the opportunity. If they give him the opportunity, we'll see what happens.
Yep.
All right. Carlos Hyde. Obviously, the guy that is probably really a lot of talk about this guy right now after this week. Obviously, we all know that Chris Carson is hurt. He has a mid-foot sprain. I don't know how to say that correctly. But look, Carlos is only rostered in 10% of leagues right now, which is one surprising because Chris Carson is injury prone and no one has this handcuff. So I think right now Carlos Hyde is, in my opinion, the priority back in this waiver wire besides Edmonds. Just obviously Edmonds is a lot higher.
So he's your number 1 pick this week.
No, I don't. He's not my number 1 pick. If I had to put him in order, it would be Chase and then Carlos.
Okay.
Even if I have Chris Carson, the reason why I say no, that he's not my priority, is because I believe in Chris. 1, 2. No, let me rephrase that. I believe that Chris will be back sooner than a lot of people think. That's what I believe. 2, Carlos Hyde is really only will really only be plugged in for 1 or 2 weeks.
Okay.
So you don't want to waste enough of your fab or that waiver wire priority for somebody.
But he's still like a top 3 guy, right?
Oh, 100%. I'm not saying he's not.
Okay.
I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying I don't think. Yeah, I said Edmonds and then Carlos for sure.
Okay, right. So he's your 2nd pick this week. Sorry.
Yeah, the only reason why like I said, I'm not hesitant is because I am hesitant is because I don't think it's worth wasting a lot of fab, more than 20%, 30% fab on Carlos for 1 week.
I get that.
But once again, we don't know. Once again, we don't know how long Chris Carson is going to be out for. These are just all hypotheticals. Yeah. But Carlos, like I said, he is the guy. He is the guy right now for Seattle. He had 15 carries and a touchdown. I think he had like 17 fantasy points in Sunday night's game. So I think this is a great opportunity for Carlos to kind of step in, take over the role for however long Chris Carson's out for.
Don't be worried about the matchup with the 49ers. Someone DM'd us about that. Look, the Seahawks are an elite offense.
That's right.
When an elite offense plays an okay defense, you start the guy who's the running back there. So Carlos Hyde should be started if Carson does miss time, which it looks like he will.
Yep.
Let's talk about Tua Tagovailoa.
Oh,
I
boy.
hope I said that right.
Tua Tagovailoa. Yeah, that's good.
It's Tua time in Miami. Okay? Regardless of if you think it's too early, if Fitzmagic should have kept that job, the reality is it is Tua time. He is rostered in less than 30% of leagues. Here's the reality. Fitzmagic is not Tua. So you need to keep that in mind when you pick him up. This is pretty much the definition, Badaki, of a stash and C.
Absolutely.
Here's how I'm looking at Tua. Have you got space on your bench? Is there space in your roster? And you kind of have a spot maybe to see if a guy's going to pop off or not? This is a definition of a stash and C.
Yeah.
Tua was great in college. The accuracy was elite. Now we get to see if this is going to translate to the NFL. Not a very good matchup to start where he's going to be seeing Aaron Donald on the other side. But keep in mind, guys like Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow are all very fantasy relevant.
And
available.
available.
I believe Tua has and available. I believe that Tua has great wide receiver options in Miami with Gesicki, with Devontae Parker. He's got talented people around him.
Yeah.
So the question is, will they actually give him an opportunity to succeed with the game plan? So for me, he's not very high on the priority at all. He's probably a second or third waiver. For me, maybe a 1 to 10% fab. But he's a guy I would love to stash and see how it works out for him.
Absolutely. Look, just a side note as well, Mike Gesicki came out with the comment, or I think Beat Writers came out with the comment about Mike Gesicki saying that Mike Gesicki practiced all offseason when he found out Tua was drafted to the Dolphins. And he practiced on the second team rep.
Really?
So he has a lot of chemistry already with Tua.
Okay. That's interesting.
We you never know. You never know. Giovanni Bernard.
Gesicki could be on the trade for targets tomorrow.
Yeah, he could be. Giovanni Bernard rostered obviously 59% of the leagues. Look,
I'm sorry to interrupt. Have you seen Gio's picture on fantasy?
that mustache.
He's just got that mustache is signature.
Honestly, he doesn't have to, start for No Shave November because that thing is always there.
Yeah.
Look, Giovanni Bernard, 59% of the owning 59% of the leagues. He did great last week against obviously the Browns, the Cleveland Browns. He had that last second touchdown. They were feeding him the ball. He was getting it. I think he had over 20 fantasy points. Giovanni is a really good handcuff if Joe Mixon is out for a really long period of time. Obviously, we don't know how long that is. We haven't heard any reports as of yet. We'll keep you updated throughout the week on our socials. But like I said, I think this is my order, and it would be Chase Edmonds, Carlos, Gio.
Okay, I agree with that.
Yeah, so like I said, there's really not much to say about Gio. If Gio's available in your league, pick him up. Really,
purely volume, right? I mean,
absolutely.
The volume is going to be there. My worry is that I think he's the most risky of the top three because Mixon could be back this week. It's really a weird situation. We don't know much information.
Yeah.
But if he starts, he's a great pickup this week. I picked him up in a league and got 20 points from him. Was that against you this week?
That was against me.
Okay.
Unlucky. Sometimes it happens. But I
actually couldn't remember.
He actually has a great matchup against the Titans next week, which gives up a lot of points to fantasy running backs. So,
you know what, Joe? Just take some time and make sure the foot's right. And, this is me, a concerned friend.
a concerned, not a Joe Mixon owner. But
yeah. All right. We've got a couple more. Nelson Agholor, the wide receiver out of Las Vegas.
Raiders.
Now, this has been a very surprise addition. Not a surprise addition, sorry, but there's been a couple players this year who have changed teams and have surprised with their production. Number one would probably be Robbie Anderson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Balled out. Was not highly sought after in free agency for whatever reason. Nelson Agholor has been the guy that he wasn't in Philadelphia.
Yes.
He has been a guy that you could count on in these last 3 to 4 games. In the last 3 games, he's had a touchdown in every game. And he's also averaging just under 17 points per game. So, this is another maybe lost OBJ. Maybe you have the, space to see if Nelson's going to continue this. I think for us, he's not very high on the priority, but you can't ignore production, can you?
No, you actually can. I think Nelson Agholor. Look, we said it all along. If you've been listening to our podcast, Derek Carr needs to make these receivers relevant, and he's been doing his thing. We've been seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
He's been tossing it up there. He's been really sitting in the pocket, completing his passes. Obviously, not in the production that we wanted, but significantly better than what he has been doing. So
yeah,
I think Nelson Agholor could be a good, addition to your team.
Yeah, he's definitely a second or third round of waivers, a 1 to 5% fab guy. But hey, sometimes you got to take a risk on someone and see what happens. I mean, that there's been so many players in waivers over the year where, keep in mind, Terry McLaurin was a waiver wire last year. Yep. Alvin Kamara was a waiver wire in his rookie year. Justin Jefferson was a waiver wire this year. You have to keep in mind the power of a waiver. Sometimes it can actually help you win a championship. So
that's right. Wayne Gallman, my beloved football Giants, 2 on the list this week for the New York Football Giants. Shout out to the Giants.
Wow.
1 in. Oh man, I'm not even gonna finish that sentence.
The NFC East is just a wreck.
Look, obviously Devonta Freeman went out last week with an ankle injury, and Wayne Gallman came in. He stepped up. He had 10 carries, obviously not that many yards, 34 yards, and a touchdown. So he finished with 16 points. He's only rostered in 2% of fantasy leagues. Look, this is not a huge priority on our list, but if you can pick him up, stash him. He's playing. Yeah. Obviously, he's playing Tampa Bay, which has a good defense, but obviously his roster throughout the season could be a little bit better. You never know. Maybe they'll transition to Wayne Gallman because obviously Devonta Freeman he only had that one good game. So
yeah, is it fair to say that Wayne Gallman is probably last on our priority out of the list so far?
Yes. 100%.
Okay.
So this is not somebody that I'm pushing for. This is somebody that's probably still going to be available in your leagues after the waiver wire priorities or your fabs, whatever you guys work with. Wayne Gallman will probably still be there.
Yeah. LaMichael Perine to finish off the list.
Oh boy.
Look, these are not all the guys that we are considering picking up for waivers, but we wanted to give you a good list of 10. LaMichael Perine, the rookie out of Florida, rostered in less than 16% of leagues. Currently, splitting carries with Frank Gore. What do we know about Adam Gase? He's a terrible coach and he loves Frank Gore. So, for whatever reason, Frank Gore is still getting a lot of touches. On Sunday, they split the touches, so both got 11. However, LaMichael Perine was way more effective with the touches that he got.
Yes.
He scored a touchdown as well. So when a rookie plays well and he's got good production, normally the volume starts to follow over time. And this is a guy very much a stash and see. Yeah. You have to keep in mind he is still on the New York Jets, so he's probably maybe in the 7th to 10th range from this list of priority for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not very high. But the reality is you might be desperate and you might need a running back who is going to give you at least 10 touches. LaMichael Perine is that guy. And it's not a great offense, but the reality is these weeks with the buys and with the injuries, there is desperation in every league.
Absolutely.
So he might be a guy that you want to grab. You're probably grabbing him over Frank Gore, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Look, LaMichael Perine is the future for the Jets right now. From what we know, we think that he can be that guy. Look, I just want to read out a list to you boys, or everyone that's listening, not you boys. A list that I sent
Who
to
runs the world?
A list that I sent out to the boys that LaMichael Perine had more points this week. Okay. Josh Jacobs, Mike Davis, Ezekiel Elliott, Le'Veon Bell, Devin Singletary, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Melvin Gordon, Jared McKinnon, obviously, GG's to him, Devonta Freeman, James White. Like, That's how he had more fantasy points than all those players. Chris Carson.
Keep in mind, a lot of those guys got injured or just had terrible weeks. But the name value is there. Pick up one of these guys. And
you like LaMichael Perine?
You like LaMichael Perine, bro. Hey, pick up one of these guys. Hopefully this has been helpful for your waivers this week. And I see some of these guys as league winners. I mean, if Edmonds grabs that job, he could be a league winner. If Sterling is a consistent receiver, he could be a league winner. If Tua pops off and the potential is there, again, could be that league winner.
Yeah.
If Joe misses more time, Gio could take you to the playoffs. At least get you there.
Fear the stash from Gio.
Honestly. But hey, thanks so much for listening to our Waiver Wire Targets today. Do not miss the next episode where we give you an update on our league, the Fellowship of the Fantasy Ring. We're going to give you an update on what's happening in that league, as well as some trade targets for Week 8 and Thursday Night Football. So, we don't want to announce who just... Are we announcing the giveaway?
I mean, if you want. I mean, technically, when this comes out, they would know.
Okay. So, the giveaway for this month, we do monthly giveaways for signed sports memorabilia. And for this month, the giveaway is George Kittle.
Oh, boy.
Tight end from the 49ers. The kind of guy just everyone wants to see win.
Yeah, Mr.
We're really excited to give this signed jersey away to one of the Fantasyland fam members. So, follow us on Instagram at FantasyLand Football to have a look at that post and make sure that you're entered for the giveaway. There's a lot of bonus entries as well. We love you guys so much. Follow us on all social media platforms. You can find those social media platforms in our bio, in the description.
Yeah.
Wherever you see us, you'll be able to find it in our link tree or whatever that might look like. But thank you so much for listening to this episode. Badaki, you want to say anything to close us off here?
Sign up to Patreon. Patreon.com/FantasyLandFam. Look, another great way to join the community, to help us build this community, to get more fantasy advice, more exclusive fantasy advice. That's really it.
Yep. I love it. All right, guys. Have a great Tuesday, and we will see you on the pod tomorrow. As always, see you there.
See you there.
Hey, yeah, you, the one listening to this podcast, you made a good decision today. Keep making those good decisions. You know what? Go ahead and do a little dance right now, like no one's watching. 'Cause you deserve it.